Hello there, my mate Vince here, and in this video today we're going to try to fix up this Eufy RoboVac 11S. So this is a robot vacuum cleaner. This is my one, but basically my house is a little bit cluttered to be able to use this because it's going to meet a lead, a box, a wire, something every foot off the way. So basically I gave two of them to my dad. He uses one to do upstairs, one to do downstairs, and he actually does use them. You know, they go round a couple of times a week. And what I did is I gave him some new brushes. So basically I put some new brushes on his one and also a new roller wheel here. And then about a few days later he come over and he said that's not working, and I thought, oh well, maybe I've just dislodged something. But it was weird. It's his battery. So I gave him the battery from my one, this one here, and then I put his one in here. And the reason I want to do a video on it is because the battery is not showing anything at all, which is odd because you would think if a lithium battery fails that maybe it's dropped below. I said to him, there's no bother, I tried to get voltage into it. But as far as I can see, when I looked at it, there was 0 volts on it. It wasn't taking a charge whatsoever on my bench power supply. So yeah, really, really odd. Now check this out. I've got the dock plugged in here. This isn't the actual correct dock for it, but it will still work. So what you do is you put it up here, you move it, there, okay? Right? But it won't actually charge. Wait, there you go. It goes to red. I don't know if you can see that or not. And the reason it goes to red is because the battery is doing nothing. I haven't actually checked this in about a month now. It was when I was doing the Rolls-Royce stuff. Right, check this out. So let's take this out, unplug the battery. Now from memory there was nothing on this battery at all, which I thought was odd. Or maybe it was when I went to charge it there was nothing on it. So 2 outer prongs there, you see black and red. I mean, what's that about? No voltage whatsoever. Yeah? Now, this needs, what does this need to charge? This needs 19 volts, 0.6 amps. 19 volts, 0.6 amps. And then if we look here, we see that the battery is 18650. It looks like there's 4 of them. And it says 14.4 volts, 2600 milliamp hours. So if I was to put 15 volts into this, it should do something, shouldn't it? So let me get my bench power supply on and I'll show you that it's not doing anything. Right, let me turn my bench power supply on. I'll get the camera pointing at it in a minute. Well, I'll tell you what, this is supposed to be, let's measure this here to see if it is actually 19 volts. 18.9 volts, so I should be safe to put 18.9 volts into it. So I'm going to unplug that for a moment. So I'm going to go all the way up to 19 volts. Actually, let me go up to 19. I just want to see what the amps are. This is going to make a bit of a bang. Let me just see what the amps are. It's going to spark. No, it didn't. Right, 2.6 amps. Well, let's lower that right down because we only need 0.6, don't we? Yeah, 0.67, which is going to be more than this. Okay, so you can see 19.12 volts there, currently 0 amps. Now I'm going to go onto here. So let's do negative and positive. Yeah, I'm on it now. And yet it's showing 0 amps. And if I was to get here, you can see that there is voltage here on my pins. So if I go here and here, you can see that there is voltage, 19 volts. So why is it not picking up any amps at all when the middle pin here isn't doing anything? There is only 2 pins. Weird. Very, very, very weird. And when I touch the wires together, you see they will go across. Yeah, it's gone into constant current because obviously it's only 0.6 amps. Right, let's get rid of that. So there's something in this battery which looks like it's become disconnected. Now you're not supposed to mess with these batteries, so I'm only doing this purely out of interest to see what it could be.
So as I always say in my videos, do not copy what you see. Take this purely for entertainment. Nobody in their right mind is going to be messing with one of these batteries. They're going to be buying a replacement one for £20-something. But why has it failed? And that's the purpose of this video. But again, do not copy. These cells are dangerous. You don't have to tell me how dangerous they are in the comments. I already know that. So don't copy what you see in this video.
Well, let's see if we've got continuity between here and here, just in case the wires have gone. I doubt it. Red's okay. And black's okay. Right, let's zoom in. It must be something on. Well, I'll tell you what. Can we measure? We can measure the cells, can't we? Batteries look immaculate. 3.6 volts, 2,600 milliamp hours. Right, so let's see if the cells themselves are okay, yeah? Because there must be some voltage left in the cells. I presume it's going to be... Well, where's that one connected? Oh, this is a bit awkward. So that jumps to there. How are these wired up? And that jumps to there. How have they wired these up? So do I need to go here to here for these two cells? That's low. Here to here. Oh, there you go, 4 volts. So I've got 4 volts there. So why haven't I got, if that goes from there to there, why haven't I got the 4 volts from here to here? Is that not odd? That's weird, isn't it? 4 volts there to there. And there to there, but not this side. Right, let's see if I've got, between here and here, what I've got. 0.1 off a volts. Let's go between here and here. 4 volts. Has some cells failed? How am I going to get in here to test? Not quite sure how it's soldered up, if I'm honest with you, at this moment in time. Well, are they all together? They are, aren't they? They're four. What is the voltage here? 14. So that's all 4 of them together. So that's 2.4 plus 12 is 14.4. Yeah. Okay. Has one of the cells failed then? 4.1 and 4.1. 3.7 there. 6.3 there. Oh, here we go. 9.3. There's now voltage here. What on earth is going on? There's now voltage here. 10.8 volts. That will charge up. Right, okay. Have I accidentally shorted something out by measuring? Have I then livened something up? Let's zoom in here. Is it like a cold solder joint or something? Or has my hand gone across something to then liven it up? Honestly, I left that on charge numerous times on that day when he brought it round and it didn't charge up. So I've taken it apart. By measuring, I've somehow kick-started something. Let's go back on to... Originally, do you remember it was 0.4 of a volt? I just want to see if it still is. I think it was between here and here, was it? Yeah, 0.4. How weird is that? Why am I now getting voltage? Why? So all I can think is that my probe slipped somewhere, or maybe the resistance from my fingers has gone across something to liven it up. Maybe the battery management system went into lockdown, shut down for whatever reason, and by me just measuring cells, it's livened something up. I really don't know. But the bottom line is, to begin with, we had no voltage, and now we've got voltage. 10 volts is pretty low, but it's a 14 volt battery. I reckon just by charging up, we'll bring those back up. Remember, it's been unplugged now for quite a while. So I'll wrap everything in caps and tape to make it nice and safe again, put it all back together, and we're going to put it back on the bench power supply after it's all back together. And I just want to show you it drawing something, because remember before it didn't draw anything. Now we've got voltage, it should be drawing something. Right, so now we should have some sort of draw on here. So negative on And positive. What? What? What's going on? Don't tell me I haven't got voltage here again. I know I haven't got voltage here again. What is going on? No, I have got voltage. What? Well, why haven't I got? I got voltage there, so why haven't I got? Why is it not charging?
In case you don't know what I'm on about, if you have a look at the bench power supply, you can see 19.12 volts, and then under amps it's all zeros. If it's charging, those amps will go up because it's actually drawing something. But going onto this battery is the same as me just having the leads flapping around in the air. They're not doing anything. Whether I have them on the battery or off the battery, it's making no difference. If it was actually charging, you would see numbers where the amps are.
Hold on a minute. Right. Definitely working. That's a mystery to me. That is a mystery to me. 19 volts. I'm on here. If I've got 19 volts here, how can it not be putting voltage into here? You know, my videos are never straightforward. Right, 10.8 volts, yes? So now if I put this one here, how am I going to do this? And touch this on the red lead, you will see my bench power, my multimeter's gone up to 19 volts, yeah? So why is it not drawing anything? Perhaps it's not going to charge now. I don't think it's going to charge because it should be taking a charge from my bench power supply. It's the same thing. Just putting the screws back in, stop it falling out. Let's see if it's still going to go to red. It has to, doesn't it? Because it's not going to be charging. It's orange, red. I'm not dreaming. When we first of all put the multimeter on, it wasn't reading anything, was it? So it's not charging.
So I stripped down the battery again, undoing all the Captain tape that I spent 5 minutes doing up, and let's have another look at maybe the circuit board or the cells to see what's going on. It's just weird how we didn't have voltage on the connector, and now we have got voltage, yet it's still got the same fault as before. It's all very odd.
I think I need to test each individual cell. I wonder if I can just probe in here. See, maybe that cell there is gone. 0.4, that's not right. Let's have a look at this one. Right, 4.1, so that's definitely okay. Maybe it's a faulty cell. 4.1, and this knows that, and that's the reason why it's 4. This cell's not right. 0.4. I think this cell's failed. This one here. So let's put a mark on this one, and maybe this is, you know, maybe this is doing its job, protecting the board because it knows this cell's failed. Let's see if I can prise this cell off.
So I use some tweezers and also my cutters to try to get rid of these spot welds, and of course the tools are all metal, so this happens.
Whoa, 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 careful there, Vince. Careful there.
So there's no easy way to take out these cells here because they're welded into place, so I just physically have to just peel the nickel back and break the welds. On the other side I can unsolder it from the circuit board because solder is easy to remove, but the plate is still welded onto the positive terminal of the battery. Anyway, it allows me to remove the battery, and now I can test it in its own right rather than worrying is there something in the circuit which is showing a different result than just the battery.
Right, let's get a measure of this cell now that is fully out. Wow. It's completely failed, isn't it? Completely failed. So when I was going across here and here, was I getting a reading from other things in circuit? Yeah, 0.4. So this has gone just completely open. That's amazing. Just open. How weird is that? Not even an ohms. Nothing. Completely open. So the cell has just failed. That's odd. Right, let's see what the cell is and see if I have one that I can use in its place. So it's 3.6 volts. It's an 18650, 2600 milliamp hours. I'm just going to Google the rest of that number there in case it means something. Because different 18650s can have different makeup in the on the inside. With the chemistry, I mean.
So there is actually a spec sheet for the battery that I'm replacing, but it doesn't really make any sense to me. I wanted to see a kind of discharge rate, and as far as I could see, I couldn't see that. There was something that was down as 4C, but I don't really know what that means. I think it was 4C. Memory's failing. I put in a Samsung battery for the replacement. It's 2,500 milliamp hour, while the one that I actually need is 2,600 milliamp hours. But I'm thinking at least Samsung is going to be 2,500 milliamp hours because it's a proper branded battery, while the one that's in there at the moment I can't see any brand on. So is it really going to be 2,600 milliamp hours? I don't know. I think I trust a Panasonic or a Samsung battery more than an unbranded battery, but saying that, I'm not sure. Clearly I'm replacing something which isn't identical, and I don't just mean the colour. So do not copy what you see in my videos, because what I'm doing may not necessarily be safe, but I think it's safe enough for me to do. But I would never sell a product on like this, but for the purpose of the video and for the purpose of entertainment, I think it's perfectly safe to do, but that doesn't mean it is actually safe. So we need to spot weld this Samsung battery in, and I'm going to be using my new fancy spot welder that I got from AliExpress about 3 months back.
Here's my fancy spot welder. Amazingly, I bought it about 3 months ago, and I've never used it until yesterday, and I used it, and now I need it again today. Isn't that weird? I'm not sure if you're going to have seen the video that I was using this on yesterday, but basically I really like it. It's really powerful. It's just that it takes about 20 minutes to charge itself up. The idea is that once the capacitor on the inside is charged, I presume it stays charged for quite a while. It's just that I thought I wasn't going to use this again for another 3 months, so I discharge it. Interestingly, you discharge it by putting it on its front, and it's got a discharge thing. A little discharge light comes up. So yeah, it's all nice. The thing is though, it's nice, and it is nice and powerful, which I like. So I'm just going to relax for a bit and charge this up. So in about 20 minutes it needs to charge up to 5.7 volts, and I have a little foot switch down here. Don't want to talk about it too much because it will probably be in the other video that I'm doing. There we go. So it's going to start charging itself up now. And I'm going to set the power to, let's do it to 15. Manual. There we go. I just want to give this some extra protection.
So this is just a little insulation ring just to give it a little bit more protection, because the tip here is positive but the whole case of this cell is negative, and it's already covered in insulation, but I'm going to be spot welding on a bit of metal onto the positive tip, and it's going to be running past the negative. Now just in case I was to slip or something like that, I wouldn't want to get to the stage where I've got the metal welded on the positive and I slip and I weld that same metal onto the casing. Even though there's insulation, the insulation is only quite thin, so by putting an extra little insulation ring on, I've just given it a little bit more protection in case my spot welding goes completely wrong. It could happen.
Do you know one thing I forgot about? I've got to have these cells balanced, haven't I? So let me see what they currently are. So that's 4 volts, so 4.079. Let's see if these are balanced already. These should be, shouldn't they? 4.1, so that's not the same. Okay, well, that's the same as that first one near enough, isn't it? So I think I'm going to put it in. I was going to say, if for example this was 4.2, then I would have put it in my little USB thing, and I would have used it to charge up, for example, a power bank just for a few minutes to try to get the voltage down. Let me show you what I mean. This thing here, that was sent in by Marcel from years ago, and basically I really like it. You put your 18650 in here, you can charge it up from here, but then you can discharge it by charging up, for example, your phone or something else. So I could have put it in here and then just, you know, charge something for a little bit to try to get the power out of it. I think it's going to be okay because it looks similar to that first one, and the second one in here is a little bit out anyway. Right, I've got the foot pedal on the ground. It's 5.4 volts, so 0.1 of a volt more, and I'm going for it. Now there's not a huge amount of room on here, meaning with these leads they are very short. So I'm going to start with going in the middle here and here. I'm still at 5.4. I'll wait until it gets to 5.5. I wonder would it be fine on 5.4. Let's give it a go. 5.5, it's gone. Right, here we go. Might spark a bit. I lowered it down to 12T instead of 15. That was a lovely one. That was a beautiful one. It didn't scare me either. Right, okay, that's probably already done, but I'm going to try to get another one on. I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go here if possible. Here goes. Pressure down. Lovely. And let's go for one slightly higher up. Just here and here. Pressure down. Oh, so clean. So clean. Okay. I think that is going to be, that's going to be on. I don't want to bend up the metal everywhere. That's going to be on just fine. So now let's put this in here. I don't have to solder it up yet. There we go, we're through. So I'll solder up that in a minute. Now let's do the back. So now I can do this one here, and there's a lot more room here. Remember, I'm operating this spot welder with a pedal on the floor. So every time I put my foot down on the pedal, boom, it goes. You can actually set it up to do it automatically after, let's say, 500 milliseconds. But I like the control of the foot pedal because then I know that I'm comfortable up top and then down on my foot and it spot welds. Love this thing. I'm going to start here. Let's put them nicely against each other. Here and here. Nice. Do you know, I think I might go up a little bit, you know. I'm going to go up to, no, not 22. I'm going to go up to, I'm going to go to 14. Press down. There we go. And here and here. Love that. Well, they feel on to me. I don't want to force them off, but they feel on. Right, let's solder up this here, and I'm going to turn this off. Hold it down for a couple of seconds. Now, I don't know if I should discharge it or not, because last time I discharged it and then I needed it the very next day. It's just safer, you see, to have it discharged rather than have that massive capacitor in here charged up. There we go. Right, let's see what voltage we've got now. We should have 4 volts higher than what we had before. And we had, what did we have before? Was it 10? So we should have 14 now. $16.4. Should we now see, before we put it all back together, if that's safe to use there, isn't it? Let's see now if it's going to draw on my bench power supply. Come on now. I have confidence it's going to work. Ready? Here goes. Oh, that scared me. Here goes. Result, look at that. 0.66 amps. Right, so that's gone straight to constant current, hasn't it? So it was wanting to draw more than that. I'm not going to do any more than that. But at least I know now it's doing something different than it was before. Result. Right, let's tape all this up again, and then we can plug it back into the Eufy and see if it's charging. And while I do that, I'll shout out them, my mate Vince Massive. The Massive members this month are kitdigital.com, Kip Hakes and Max Rokotansky, Chris Seal, Felipe at MrKeebs.com, DJ VG, Pixie at Anthony Dean, Bazza2, Russ Melanson, Gaspar Heller, Ricard Bergland, SoulReaver555, Shamsa Al Sawadi, Stuart Park, Stephen from the Broken Past over on YouTube, and Rob Taylor. Massive thank you, guys. Now, let's see if this is charging. Okay, here goes. Green light on. Are you going to now charge? I know it's going to charge. I have full confidence it's going to charge. So, move it around a little bit. Come on. Stay like that. Don't go to red. Brilliant. There we go. Eufy is charging. So I'm going to let it charge up for a little bit now, and then I'll show you him whizzing around the kitchen or one of the rooms later. Fantastic. So how interesting is that the cell had gone completely open? Really, really odd. Some people told me that these had like a resettable thing underneath them here, that they could be reset. But I don't know. Let's go back to the charging, because I'll come back to the resettable thing at the end of the video. Good news, the charging has now gone off. So watch this. If I charge it again, there you go. There you go, it goes to blue there. So let's bring it to a place where I haven't got quite so many wires to get trapped up in the wheels and show you it working. Here he goes, I believe in you, Eufy. And off he goes again. Result. So for me, that was really interesting to see that the sail's completely gone open. I've seen them before where they're really, really low, but not where it's completely gone open. So I'm not quite sure what would make it go from working to suddenly not working. Do you know what I mean? That seems weird, but I don't know what's inside these cells, because I don't want to obviously take them apart because they're very dangerous. But it'd be interesting to see the makeup of them. In fact, maybe I might have a look online. Maybe somebody's done a tear down of them so I can see the makeup on the inside, and that might give me a better idea of why this one's gone open. But there we go, a nice simple fix. Is it worth doing? For me, yes. But most people would just buy a new battery for 20 something pounds. But you never know, maybe those 3 batteries along with the replacement Samsung battery might last for another year or 2. I don't know now if the 3 original batteries will fail. I suppose it depends on what caused that 4th one to fail.
Later that day.
Now this is really interesting. This has to be my shortest fix yet. So basically, I let it run around the house for a bit, and then I plugged it into charge, and it was charging just fine as far as I know. I looked at it after the England game, and I noticed that the red light was on the charger, the top of the Eufy. And I thought, that's weird. And so basically I took it off the charger, put it back on again, and it did the same as before. After a few seconds, it went to a red light. I measured this here, and look, this is unbelievable. Remember we had 10 volts because of the open cell? Look at this, 10 volts again. And check this out. This is my new one. I thought, oh, has my new battery gone faulty again? Has something on the board made it go faulty? But look, my new cell's here. And my new cell is 4 volts, yeah. This one here is, I can't measure that one just yet. This one here is 4 volts. This one, let's go to, let's see if I can ram this in here. 4 volts. And look at this one here. This one is 0.4 volts. And we know what 0.4 volts mean. We know it's completely open. So when I said I wonder how long it's going to last, the answer to that is 1 charge. So do you know what it must be? I think they've just reached the end of their life. It's from 2019. My dad's been using it lots. And I suppose now that one cell's failed, the other cells are going to start failing as well. So that's interesting. So I'm not taking this video any further. I just want to take this one out just to see. There's no point in me replacing 4 cells because I think I pay about £7 for these ones here. I can buy the whole battery pack made with the nice sleeve on for less than it would cost me for 4 cells. Now, I bet this is completely zero. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Amazing. It's completely zero. What is going on? So tell me, why can a battery measure like 4 volts and then nothing? What is in here that's causing it just to pop? I thought it would just go down and down and down. And then, for example, you know, just like, you know, a normal 1.2 volt battery or a 9 volt battery in your smoke alarm, it gets lower and lower and lower the more it's used. So I would have thought that it would have still measured something. It's weird that that's failed so quick after the other one. Right. This is me jumping in from the future after I've done a bit of research. Now, remember earlier on, I was trying to poke in here a little bit to try to reset something. Well, I've done more looking into that because it's weird how this has just gone from working to suddenly open. And basically, inside the positive thing here, there's something called a CID, a current interrupt device. And if you look closely at any of the cells, you will see that there's tiny little vent holes around the edge here. That's because these are full of electrolyte, and if pressure builds up in here, they need to be able to vent. It's for safety to stop, I presume, them exploding. So what happens is, if you can imagine the top now, you've got your positive here. So this is your positive bit of metal at the top. And then you've got various components underneath it. But one of them is going to be this little disc that is actually spot welded. Yeah, just here, just on one point here, spot welded. And then, hold on 1 second, we're allowed to vent from here. So there's holes around this area here. But this is spot welded to, let's just pretend now, the battery. Yeah. Obviously, it's not a battery like that. But what happens is when the pressure builds up in the battery here, then it vents and it pops this disc. So then the disc becomes kind of more flat and it can't make contact with the actual battery. I know it doesn't look like that. I'm just doing it because you know what a AA battery looks like. So it's completely isolated. And that's why when we go between here and here, we have 0 ohms. Really, really interesting. Now, apparently it is possible to reset them, but they're not resettable. You're forcing it down again. And if you're forcing this down again by getting a screwdriver and forcing it in through one of the vent holes, then you're going to end up damaging this thing here. Well, to begin with, you're not going to be able to spot weld it again. So the only way you're going to be able to do it is by kind of forcing it onto it. And if you're forcing it onto it, and let's say if it's kind of done like this and all jaggedy like this, then who's to say that if the gases build up again on the inside of the battery, I'm an amazing drawer, thank you. If the battery gases build up in here, who's to say it's going to have enough strength to pop that out again and to isolate it? So I think it's highly dangerous. Well, these are dangerous cells anyway, because you think that there's no voltage in here. There is voltage in here. We just can't access it because the CID has been popped. Now, my question to you guys is, why has it been popped? Apparently on older cells, the electrolyte can start breaking down and it gases more, and then if it's gassing more, it can pop this. So clearly the cells have just come to the end of their life, which I think is what's happened here, because if the battery was made in 2019, so they might have had a lot of use. The weird thing is, if it's the cells breaking down, yes, they're the same age, but would they be that chemically the same that this one's failed? One charge, just one, okay, sorry, the second charge after this one here, I think maybe unlikely. So what my thinking is now is there something on this board here? I've taken out my good cell so I can use it again for something else. Is there something on this board here which is causing an overcharging of the cells? And when they're overcharging, if they're not perfectly balanced, which we know they're not, because when I looked earlier, one was, I think, 4 volts and one was like 4.1. The one with the highest voltage in it, is it getting overcharged, causing the gases to build up and then poof, breaking that CID spot weld? I think maybe there's a fault on here. I don't know. Anyway, in this video here, the best thing to do by far is just to buy a new battery pack, because if I was to put 4 new cells on and there's a fault on here, I might end up damaging my new cells. Also, my cells are not going to be matched really to this, are they? Because they're not exactly the same cells as this. And it's going to cost more for me to replace 4 cells than just buy a working one, which looks intact. And then if I ever wanted to sell the vacuum cleaner, I can sell it with a proper intact battery rather than something I've bodged up myself. But really fascinating. I've never seen that before, where the cells have opened. The CID has popped. I didn't even know the CID existed. I know people told me that you can get the cells working again by forcing them in. There's like a button in here, but I've never experienced a fault where that's happened. So really interesting to see. So that has made the video for me, because I've learned about these now, and if I see 0 volts, I know, don't mess with them. Recycle them, get a new cell, because clearly they are, in my opinion, not safe to force that down. So there we go. That is why this Eufy failed, because either the cells are breaking down or the battery management, something or other on here, has caused an over voltage. Interesting either way, but clearly just needs a new battery pack. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed.